carbon dioxide emissions are found in people's homes and basements and in other areas around Pozzuoli, especially like low-lying areas, enclosed areas, in wells. So that has increased, and it's a very strange phenomenon. So firefighters are beginning the checks right now. We will look into this. Then a very strange anti-seismic table that a restaurant in Pozzuoli that sits basically on the epicenter of these earthquakes and the land rise has put up, and we will see damages that are done from the earthquakes. So stay tuned with me. So this sounds really, really scary that we have the carbon dioxide emissions. I have reported yesterday about the new INGV bulletin that has come out. And you see that graph again that shows us that CO2 emissions are up, that are increasing on the rise. And so is this somehow connected? Has this massive, massive earthquake swarm that basically began on February 9th with so many earthquakes? Since I am watching Campi Flegrei, I have never seen anything like this. Has this caused these emissions? Has this constant rumbling made the ground brittle, loosened rocks, and found a way for the gases to come up? That is the big question. So the Vesuvius Observatory that belongs to the INGV, the Italian National Institute for Geophysics and Volcanology, has detected the presence of carbon dioxide emissions in basements between Naples and Pozzuoli. So it's quite a widespread area. It's not localized to properties that are close to the Solfatara crater, Peschiarelli, where we have these the most active fumaroles and the gas emissions. No, it's quite a widespread area, and that's why it is concerning. And I showed you in one of my previous videos a road, just a normal road in the area where you also can see the steam coming out. So that volcano shows us that it is really present. So the prefect of Naples has ordered the fire brigade to conduct checks. The discovery was just made during continuous monitoring that they're carrying out right now, and that was discovered by the Vesuvius Observatory of the INGV. So they're surveilling the area, especially after this intense earthquake swarm. It's quiet right now. There's only a single or two earthquakes in the region right now, and there's some stuff going on at Vesuvius. By the way, I'll put a video in the end screen that I have made about could that rumbling at Campi Flegrei do something to Vesuvius and vice versa? Are they connected? Could they trigger each other? Could they both erupt at the same time? It's a very interesting video, so I'll put it in the end screen. So Vesuvius Observatory discovered this phenomenon. So they were alerting the officials, and they were also discussing this with other scientists, what that is. And because of that, the prefect of Naples, Michele Di Bari, has called an urgent meeting this morning with the Civil Protection Rescue Coordination Center. So they're taking this serious, and I think this is good. So in the coming days, that's the plan for now, firefighters will carry out thorough inspections of public facilities. So they want to probably guarantee the safety of schools, but also it's private homes. That's a big problem, especially since these homes are quite old. So they probably don't have proper ventilation, especially in basements or more low-lying areas of homes. And they are stressing that it's the presence, not only the presence, it's the presence of high concentrations of carbon dioxide that they found, especially in closed and poorly ventilated places. There it is, of course, accumulating more. So they say that, in fact, this can be very, very dangerous for people's health. So that's why the public statement is, because of that fact that it could be very, very dangerous. And they call it again a phenomenon. This phenomenon must be carefully monitored. The firefighters, the first round of checks will focus on the lower floors Of course, that makes sense, right? Basements, garages, and also gyms. And then a meeting between the mayors of all these communities that are in this area of that supervolcano, Campi Flegrei, the Phlegrean fields, the burning fields. They want to meet with citizens committees, and that is already scheduled for this evening. So they're fast on this. They are on high alert. In their meetings, they have already focused on the in-depth analysis of these carbon dioxide emissions. Where are they coming from? What is the reason? Why? What is triggering them, or what has triggered them? Because they just found it as part of their their ordinary monitoring activity that they're conducting in this area. What they're saying that once they have a detailed indication of the areas that could be affected, they want the National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology to find out about this. Then the Fire Brigade Command will carry out immediate inspections, starting with public buildings, schools, hospitals, nursing homes, and retirement homes to assess the possible presence of carbon dioxide. Also, the mayors of the communities that are affected by this will promptly adopt these ordinances and provide safety requirements for specifically public buildings, but also private homes in the affected areas. And private homes, that is important as well. And they will implement an information campaign for the citizens. It's going to be called I Don't Take Risks. So the reason is that they want to raise awareness among the population on the specific risk, and they want to teach them about self-protection measures, and they want that to be adopted in the event of potential accumulations of carbon dioxide in underground and poorly ventilated areas. But how do people know? Should they assume that it's there and then just try to do something against that? It's not that these old homes have windows in their basements. Not many do. So, of course, they're saying the INGV will continue its constant monitoring activities of the phenomenon. But that, as we've learned from scientists from the INGV, that doesn't guarantee safety. They also have scheduled regular meetings to follow up on every development on the issue. So the earthquake swarm might be over for now, but the phenomenon is not. The Brady seism is not, and also not the volcano that is awakening. I told you in my previous video, and I went into detail what the scientists are saying, because that kind of activism of Brady seism is not normal. It has only occurred before and after eruptions in the past. So it doesn't mean there's an imminent eruption risk, but it had thousands of years and sometimes hundreds of years in between eruptions where everything was completely quiet. And then the Brady seismic, the land rise with the earthquakes, with the gas emissions, started again. So this current crisis started in 2005, and land is rising significantly. Ports are running dry because the land has risen so much that there's no water in the port of Pozzuoli anymore. Fisher boats have to wait for high tides to even get out, but only some boats are still able to do that. There's grass and bushes growing on the edges of the port where there was water. So it is to be taken serious. And in that context, I still don't understand. It's probably just irony, but it still doesn't hit me too much what it really means. There's a table. It's called the anti-seismic table in a restaurant of Pozzuoli that is basically in the epicenter of the earthquakes. And the reason that the restaurant owner put up that table is to combat the fears of the earthquakes with irony. Because already last year it was quite a stressful year for the inhabitants of the Campi Flegrei caldera, and there's lots of people living right on the volcano. So to counter this renewed fear that they're feeling right now and the panic of these earthquakes, it's the Don Antonio restaurant It stands in an alley that is basically on the maximum point of the land uplift. And it's also most visible because really you see that the water has completely retreated, and there you see the fishermen's boats that have run dry. So outside the restaurant, we have that table for two, and then you can read anti-seismic table. And he has made a social media campaign out of it. So I don't know, guys. And that's why they are also worried about these old buildings that are everywhere with more than 6 million people. So residents are frightened that their buildings might end them if there's a stronger earthquake, and that is very well possible. So this is not that the seismic storm is over, everything's going back to normal. That Brady seismic crisis is ongoing, and we could see the next storm at any time. So this is the quiet can mean everything right now, and I keep you updated about this, guys. And again, check out the videos in the end screen. I have selected some very, very interesting videos for you, but there's so many, I can only put a few in the end screen. So check out my channel page and check out my playlist with the various topics about what's going on in Greece and Santorini. That is a weird phenomenon. And in Italy, in Iceland, and in many other places, guys. So best would be, if you're new here, if you subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, above just viewing the videos, you can become a monthly supporter, like a channel member. So you can see videos only for channel members, like behind the scenes about my private life, some outtakes, some funny stuff, or some rants when I'm angry about what's happening with YouTube. So yeah, click the join button that should be underneath this video. If you don't see it, I have a playlist. I have a link in the description of this video. There's also a link to my gas station, so to speak. You can fuel me with coffee. You can buy me a coffee. That's my buymeacoffee.com/silky site. The link is in the description. So thank you guys who has done that. It's greatly appreciated. It really helps a lot right now. And I hope you're all doing great, guys. And after this, I'm working on the next one right away because there's some new developments, very interesting information out. So that'll be a separate video. And until then, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Enjoy your coffee, your evening cocktail, or whatever, guys. I see you. Bye.